Hi guys, and welcome to episode 11 of the 7,000 gold before TBC without using Mage's challenge. And I finally got the hang of jump runs. It's happened. Yay! I am only killing 2 bosses each run, and the runs are taking about 15 minutes, and they are costing me a lesser invisibility potion, but they are still proving to be quite profitable for me, so I am very happy. Now, if only I could find a way of improving my luck, as most of the time you're going to find that I do the jump run and get absolutely diddly squat. Now, I do come away with about 10 jump runs since last episode under my belt, and quite a bit of thorium ore and 3 little gems. 1 diamond, 1 opal, and 1 emerald. And that's about it, which is very disappointing. Luckily, I seem to have a lot more luck with Hydra Spawn, who has given me elemental water pretty much every time, which is selling for a decent chunk, but that's the first farm that we've done since the last episode. Now next up, we are going to be seeing Tyr's Hand. Now yes, of course, Tyr's Hand, it just wouldn't be an episode in this series if we didn't have an inordinate amount of time spent there, and this one is no different. What is different this time around is the level of luck that we were able to have. We normally turn up here with the view to getting about a gold a minute or 60 gold an hour. Now those numbers, if any of you are regular watchers of the channel, will know I hate gold per hour numbers. But I do use them as a rough relative guide to compare one farm to another, but not necessarily in terms of value that you are actually going to be getting for the time that you have spent there. So, by the add-ons that I have and the way they're configured, I usually say that about 60 gold an hour is what I would aim for at Tyr's Hand. However, at one point I did hit almost 140 gold an hour, which is pretty fantastic. Now, this was hyperinflated by a few different reasons, but as we've been over in the past, the add-ons are poorly configured so that they do not account for the cost of consumables properly when I am using things like my flash powder, as well as also not having the appropriate values for certain items that drop, so this actually proved to be a very lucrative trip to Tyr's Hand. Now, a lot of people have been saying about configuring the add-ons, but there are limitations to it, which is why you've seen that in some of these clips I have now actually switched over to Loot Appraiser Classic, which I do believe to be the superior add-on. It does have its own limitations, most notably in the form of not being able to find a way to properly configure it so that when I'm doing farms that have vendor bind on pickup items, to actually get it to accommodate for the value of the vendor sale price of said item. Now, this is good when it's doing a farm that I intend on disenchanting the item, because of course then I don't end up with duplicate value of both the item that it was before and after disenchant. But it does have its limitations when I am looking to sell that item to the vendor. This is probably less of an issue, however, than what we have sometimes when we have massive inflation of the costs of doing any given farm from flash powder, or when we have the doubling up of values from both a vendor item and the disenchanted materials that we get after disenchanting it. Now, speaking of one of the farms where this is actually going to prove to be excellent is going to be our Razorfen crawl farm, where we come for the small radiant shards. Now, of course, this means that we aren't going to really be vendoring the bind on pickup items because we're disenchanting them to get those shards, so it does mean that for this farm in particular, we do end up with somewhat accurate results on our add-ons. Now, one of the unfortunate things about this is that it's depressing when those accurate numbers aren't as nice as what you were first hoping for. Now, we came here because this has proven to be very lucrative for us in this challenge so far, both in terms of the small radiant shards and in terms of BOEs that we've gotten from the treasure chests along the way. Now, admittedly, we did only do, I believe it was 5 runs of Razorfen Crawl this time around, and we did get plenty of shards. We did have good fortune in terms of finding the rare for the extra blue each time, and also for getting our hands on the double blue drop from the last boss. But unfortunately, we got very little in terms of the treasure chests, and we also have very unfortunately not been able to profit on the reset of the market for the small radiant shards, which is what actually got us to come and do this farm in the first place. If you remember from a previous episode, we did actually say we were ditching this farm due to the fact that we no longer had a viability of making good profit from it because of the diminishing price of the small radiant shard. Now, luckily for us, someone else has reset the market, but when we tried to profit off of them resetting the market for us, we haven't yet got any sales. Now, moving forward, we're going to have to see how quickly the market resets, as I am recording this at the time of shortly after when I've got the footage that you are seeing right now. And as a result, we're hoping the market will stabilise at its new value, or at least a higher value than what it was at, but we're going to have to wait and see. But as you're watching this now, with the magic of editing, we will be cutting to that point, so you join me now in the auction house. Let's go. Okay. So you join me now on my bank character, and as you can see, we have 2,787 gold, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm very happy with that. But that doesn't even come close to telling the whole story, because if we have a look in our bags, we'll see that we actually have a lot of value that is currently sat in our bags, unable to go onto the auction house. Most of this is going to be reasonably trivial things that aren't going to add up to an awful lot, but we do have things like this, our enchant chest Mage mana, which isn't going up right now, which is, you're looking at about 80 gold right there. You got an awful lot in consumables, as well as also quite a lot in our crafted gear as well. But then it gets better still. If we go and look at the auction house, we'll see that we have 784 gold still on for sale. Now, just to be clear, we did hit 1,000 gold on our posted auctions just yesterday. And I did make a post on YouTube about that, if you'd seen that. But that was, of course, 24 hours ago. We've had sales since. And some of the items that were up for sale then aren't up for sale right now because of their value currently. So if we take a look at what we've got up, we've got a lot of our crafted stuff. It's the same stuff you're very much used to. But if we spot some of the a bit more unusual things, then the first one that's going to stand out is probably going to be our green item here, our Widow Blade of the Monkey. And Overlord's Chestplate of Strength. Every now and then we do get the occasional green from various different farms that we do that are worth popping up on the auction house. It's not very common, tend to disenchant or vendor them. But every now and then you get one that you think is going to have a bit of success, so we will throw it up there at least for a little while. Still not sold our Cloak of Shadow Wrath that we got from Tia's hand. Just a bit of a shame. I was hoping that was going to be a relatively quick seller. Then we've got a lot of our crafted items, particularly our Shadow Wave set, which is still selling really well. There's still a lot of people that are out there trying to level up their Warlocks right now for TBC. So if you are looking to play along with the challenge, that is probably one of the ones that I'd say that it was worth getting in on. Small Radiant Shards, you saw we went and restocked. They are selling reasonably well, but still that price. Someone did actually reset the market for us, and we tried to get in on that, didn't get a single sale. It's plummeted straight back down again, and now we're starting to get some sales. So they are a very consistent gold maker for us, but just not a lot. I mean, 294 now. It's a far cry from what we used to get. When you look up there, our best price that we sold them for is 6 gold 36. It's less than half price. Not ideal. We've got a couple of Diamond cards, including our 5 of Beasts here. And we did actually get a sale of a Diamond card just before we started filming, which we'll have a look at when we go to our ledger in just a minute. But beyond that, you are looking at pretty much all of the standard stuff. We've got a few now of these gems that you're going to get when you are mining thorium, because we've started incorporating a few more jump runs in. But that's going to about do it. But 124 auctions for 794 gold, which does mean that we've got a pretty decent average gold per auction value going on as well. Not selling all just absolute garbage. There is some decent stuff in there. And now if we take a quick look at TSM, which I know some of you have been complaining about the size of things. I will try to make this box bigger. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I know it doesn't scale up the writing and such, but hopefully it goes halfway house to helping. So Thursday was our last episode, and I'm now recording this on Sunday morning. And since Thursday, well, we've had quite a meteoric rise in our gold, which is absolutely fantastic. We did have some really good luck in some of our farms, particularly in Tia's hand, where we made like 250 gold in just over an hour, if memory serves, and that's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, it's not going to happen every time. There is a lot of factors involved in there, mainly just fantastic luck, but nevertheless, it's nice when it happens. So just double check this. Yeah, this is our sales for the last 3 days, so everything since the last episode. We'll rank it by price. So our best seller was a Dreamweave Circuit. We sold for 19 gold. And look at that, the crafting cost is about 4 gold. That's absolutely unreal. We had our 6 of portals that sold a few hours before I woke up this morning that I've just collected the money for now. And then we've got our Dreamer Circuit, Tundra Necklace of the Monkey. See, we do sell some green items that you get along the way when you're doing these farms. They do sell, and they do get you really good gold if you happen to know which ones are worth selling. So this one, at that level range, necklaces are often very hard to get. Agility and stamina, very popular stats for people that are leveling up, say, a rogue or a feral druid. So I thought I'd give it a go, and what do you know, sold lovely. So we've got some Essence of Water, Shadow Weave, and then we're going to go down to more of our mainstream stuff. So our Elixir of Mongoose and Lips, they're making up a lot of our money, same as always. Razorfen Diamond in there. Very disappointing price. Wow. That needs to be looked at. But, you know, it's a sale. Frost Oils, our small Radiant Shards, like we said, selling real well. But, alas, just not for any value. Moving on down, now you're going to see a lot of our low value items, so a lot more of our crafted alchemy things. A couple of Nightscape tunics, they are selling really well, but sadly the profit margin on them is just not really worth it. There's 1 gold in it per one that we sell. We sell 1 every 2 or 3 days. I mean, I know that adds up, but certainly not something that I'm going to be focusing on. Might craft the odd one here and there as I get the parts. And then as we move down, you're starting to look a lot more at these ores that we picked up along the way while doing Maradon farms. We get gold ore quite consistently. Again, quite low prices that we were getting for these, but everything's quite low on my realm at the minute, and I'm sure it's the same for many of you. Which is a little bit sad, but you know, what can you do? Look at that though, that's pretty nice. I know it's only 15 silver, but we're selling those 15 silvers in stacks of 5 and sold 12 of them straight off the bat from each other, then plenty more around it as well. That Mithril ore from Maraudon, honestly doing absolute wonders for us. And as you can see, 912 gold in 3 days from 787 sales. Absolutely fantastic. But that's going to about wrap it up for this one, guys. I do hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please do let me know down below and consider subscribing to the channel. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Later.